Okay. Just for those of you rejoining us on Facebook, not entirely sure what's going on, but you've dropped out momentarily. So we'll keep you abreast of what's going on here. Tim Shed Broadcasting, Friday Night Motorsport. Excuse the tech issues. Aidan Rice is off circuit as you rejoin us. Adam Lavis is on screen here in 16th. Let's try and make sense of everything that's going on here because, by gee, there's plenty. We've got Josh Millard in the room here having a chat to us as well. And again, not too sure how much of that you heard, and things are about to get worse for our good mate Nick Fodiatis as well, Paul Nichols, because I'm just reading here that he's being black flagged by race control. So if he wasn't a happy chappy beforehand, he certainly isn't going to be now.
Well, he's going to experience the new 24/7 race control, so that'll be an interesting conversation over the next couple of days, I'm sure.
Oh, won't it? Absolutely. So thank you to those of you that are joining us. Simshed Broadcasting's coverage. The post-race show is going to be very interesting tonight. I've said that a few times this week.
It's going to be
on the top of the hill for Chris Stark as well.
I'm going to lock out.
I thought that might be the case. Good to have your company as always, Chris Kisby.
Yeah.
Just quickly, you mentioned it there, Paul Nichols. Josh Millard, how long have we got you for before you join back out on the racetrack, or are you thinking
5-10 minutes?
Oh, okay, so you've got a while there in pit.
We've got a while before we really need to start thinking about racing. So the main goal now is keep the cars on the track, keep them clean, keep them straight, and be able to race for the end.
I was going to say, I thought
yeah, exactly. The race begins at the end of the last yellow. So
yep,
exactly right. And we're not sure when
talent into it.
Do we actually know? Do you have any idea, Chris? When I mean, don't tell us, but there is going to be a random safety car, correct?
I would say so. Yes. You don't have to, but we'd love you if you did. Sharp, I reckon.
So Brady Mchugh is right onto the tail of Bevan Moyes now as you rejoin us, folks. Good to have your company. So, of course, Millard's still sitting there in the lane. Hopefully he'll be back out in the race very shortly. Obviously, he can crew chief for Jackson and Angus if he doesn't. But have a look at this. Mchugh stomps up on the outside and takes the lead away from Bevan Moyes. This is round 5 of the Sharp Road to Indy with Motorfocus series, and Brady Mchugh is yet to register a race win. Bevan Moyes has already got a race win to his name. That was 2 weeks ago at Long Beach. Mchugh now the new race leader, and he is clearly on fresher rubber. Oh, off the circuit goes lap traffic behind us as well. Thankfully not for the leaders. That didn't impede them. Mchugh has pulled out and broken clear of Bevan Moyes and leads this race, leads this field. We are on lap 20 of 45. We're standing by for a competition caution at some point. Nick somehow got himself out there still in the top 10, but this will be a very long, difficult night at the office for him, and he's still trying to avoid obstacles as well, given that he's had the penalty, he's had the crash, he's had a couple of things going on there. Josh Thomas going round. So we've got one in the commentary box, one Josh in the box, one on the racetrack going round. It's a Josh-a-thon here at the moment, but that's good. Bevan Moyes right on the tail of Brady Mchugh at the moment. But the problem here is, again, we're on lap 21 of the race. The problem here is Brady's clearly on the fresher rubber and using that to his advantage. Whether that comes back to bite him later in the race or whether it comes back to do him a justice later in the race depends very much on the strategy play that unfolds once this safety car is deployed wherever that may be. Looking forward to that spicing things up a little bit in the meantime. Hey, Paul Nichols, just quickly, for the club to get to a point to be able to engage the services of a race control organisation, it says a lot of how things have progressed here in recent times as we watch Jackson Rayhana running into trouble as well, coming down to the chicane.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
you go, Nico.
Based on, we have some fantastic sponsors that you mentioned earlier on in the night, and we'll mention them again. It's given us the ability to employ a race control I suppose, group that can look after our major series and our broadcast series and do the back end of race control. Obviously, we're a small club, we're a not-for-profit club. To have the assistance of a professional group that can look after race control has been great. They're still learning. Look, there's a few things we need to sort out, and that'll improve over time. But it's really great for the drivers to know that they have race control that will look at things and adjudicate on track. Fantastic that we have them tonight, and it's only been a recent event, so
there you go.
So it's fantastic.
Well, this is the thing; it's only been a recent event, but there are two things here. It's Jackson Ray Hunter and Brett Wilson in the pit lane too, by the way, just completing their second stop. So the fact that we've gone to half race distance, next lap by is halfway, without that safety car, that bodes well for the fireworks to unfold in the last half of the race. We're looking forward to that. But I think the other thing that needs to be said here, Paul, it takes a little bit of the strain off the club because, as you say, not-for-profit organisation, limited admin personnel, community members, etc., behind the scenes. And when you're running every night of the week, as we are, and running so many different series and championships, just being able to offload that little bit of work lightens the load, relieves some of the strain that no doubt you guys as club committee members do feel from time to time, because this is a full year gig.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the club, I think the club's been so successful based on our professionalism and the people that have committed to doing race control. And it got to a point where we're actually, it was becoming too much. And so to employ an outside, a third party to look after race control kind of frees us up to look after the growth of the club and maintaining the standard that we expect. So it's a fantastic improvement, and a bit of, the evolution of the club is going to get bigger and bigger.
Indeed it is. Brady Mchugh and Bevan Moyes in the lane. Brady Mchugh out. And on to the black tyres, I think. I'm not quite sure if that's right. He's on the harder compound now. So this is the third stint of the race. Oh, off goes Ray Hunter again. Oh, it's been a challenging night at the office for Jackson Ray Hunter, and this is the series that he's been committing and dedicating himself to this season. He won't be happy with how this has gone so far, but we're still a long way from home. And judging by where we are, 22 laps, 2 pit stops, Paul Nichols, you sense that there's a third pit stop coming around lap 33, lap 34, irrespective of where this safety car lands. I think if the safety car lands anywhere between now and lap 30, they come in, they might top up the fuel, they might just go for the fresh tyres, but you get the sense that they're breaking this up into a 3-stop strategy, maybe a 4, depending upon where that safety car falls.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be interesting what Brady does based on he's put the medium compounds, I think they are, or maybe even the hard compounds, or the white wall tyres. So I'm not sure. I don't know enough about IndyCar to know what tyres they are. But Josh, do you know the difference there?
So the red tyres are the Alton tyre, which is only available on the road course, which is supercar term. It's a super soft. It's 5 laps, you're one and done. You get 5-7 laps before it turns into a plastic drift tyre.
Mush.
And then the blacks, well, just the standard, just a hard go. You get stint. There was actually talking of a few people trying to do a double stint, or do half and half, do a stint and then pray it's half a stint-ish to the yellow flag and whoop them out. But it's just it's all strategy. It just adds another whole aspect to the strategy game.
There's only 2 compounds in IndyCar, is that right? 2?
Two. Only the 2 for the road courses, and then for oval they just have flags.
Okay, copy. Yeah. Thanks for that insight, mate. Appreciate it.
Appreciate that, Josh. What's the strategy plan when you get back out there? Is it just trying to get a few championship points, maybe help the boys out if you can?
Yeah, that's always the aim. We just want to keep Angus and Gus up the front of the field. I know Starkey has had to drop out because he got a completely black screen about 3 laps in, he just disappeared and never came back. And I think he came back just before I left and wasn't an overly happy chappy. But all of us seem to have a little bit of bad run with technology at the moment.
I was going to say, this is exactly right. It's been one of those sorts of weeks. I can even relate to that with my laptop carking it Wednesday night straight after the broadcast. Spinner on the inside there out of turn 2. That's not uncommon on this course. 21 to go. Brady Mchugh, the leader. Bevan Moyes, Jackson Ray Hunter, and Brett Wilson, the top 4. Angus Cook makes up the top 5. Hodak. Thomas has got by Hodak. Interesting to note there. Vincent, Fodiatis, and Turner make up the top 10. Josh, did you burn all of your 3 fast repairs? I thought there were 3 fast repairs in this race.
No, well, actually, speaking of technical issues, occasionally I'm having a weird fit with my graphics card where it turns into a slideshow mid-corner. So, it's just the caliber of the races is I really just don't want to screw up in front of someone else. I've had it happen before. It's the worst feeling you can have. So I'll just step out and let them go. Try and hopefully get it sorted tomorrow.
Well, this is exactly right. The big 12-hour coming up tomorrow, and that's the other thing we need to talk to Paul Nichols about as well. We'll do that in the safety car once everyone sorts themselves out. But obviously, the big talking... so that's one big talking point, and obviously having new race control admins on board with the club is another. And I'm not sure if that means they get added in the thank yous on our post-race brief here, because when I run through all the sponsors or whatnot, I think I have to add them to the list too. But yeah, and the bloke behind the microphone might have to contact the team at Strepsils and just see if he can get a sponsorship contra deal there as well, because they do a great job in lubricating the tonsils and soothing the throat after a big busy night, I can tell you.
Canadian club?
Here's Nick Fodiatis. No, Strepsils. Canadian club's also good, but Strepsils keep me going as well.
I like Canadian
and
club.
honey. And actually,
honey, yeah.
I was going to say, just before you go on with the Canadian club thing, because I'm happy to talk about that. But I don't know about you, but some people recommend a teaspoon or 2 of honey, right? I just don't bother with the spoon anymore because I figure it's a waste of a spoon. I just open the nozzle and squirt, and down it goes, down the jugular. So as soon as I can feel enough of it tickling the throat and the tubes, I shut it off and put it back on the cupboard. But yeah, honey, that's the magic. I have to say, I cannot say enough, but just straight Capilano honey off the shelf from Woolies or Coles.
Nico,
but you were making a good point about Canadian Club, Paul.
Yeah, I was going to talk about actually. There's a very nice bourbon called American Honey. Actually, would work well with you.
I've had a couple of shots of that over the years with Coca-Cola. Works.
And by the way, we don't
treat.
Condone drinking and driving. By the way,
no drinking and driving. Although try telling some of these guys that, because they have a couple before they get in the sim, and it shows sometimes as well, I must say. But yeah, American Honey. We were out. This is going back 11 years ago. I was out with a couple of friends, and we were at a pub down there in Bathurst, and they just said, "Have you tried this, Zach?" And at the time, I was in a very love relationship with Coca-Cola. They loved how much money I was putting across the counter, and I loved drinking it, right? And this is before I went and saw a dentist in 2014 who ruined that partnership forever. And one night they said, if you like your scotch or you like whatever, caution. Here's the competition caution being thrown on lap 27, folks. 18 laps to go. And Brady Mchugh, the man in front at the moment. Now, the big question here is, can they get home on fuel from here? My immediate gut instinct is no. So is it just a tyre stop, or do they bother coming in at all? This is a very interesting stage of the race. I'll get back to the American Honey story in a minute, because it's not too bad. But this is a very interesting phase of the race, because it's come at a time that won't really advantage or disadvantage anyone, Paul.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we've got wave rounds either as well. So, I mean, there's quite a few cars a lap down. So we've got Rick, Nico, and Jonathan Turner on lap down. So whether they get a lap back, I'm not sure, but that's up to race control.
Well, that's right. Aren't you lucky you're not in there anymore?
Yeah, copy that. I'm enjoying my Friday night.
Exactly. We're enjoying having you in the booth as well, mate. Hey, Josh Miller, as someone that's... hang on. Brady Mchugh just went in and out there for a moment. Let's hope his internet isn't doing what it did to him last night. These cautions, they always spice things up, but it also brings with it the element of more risk when you get back underway, because everyone's tightly bunched again, and you get one spinner and all hell breaks loose, don't you?
Yeah, especially around at that first right-hander. That's just, even through practice, it took me about 20 laps before I wanted to stop punching my screen so I could get around it. And then I'd actually figure out how to get around it and actually try and keep the speed through it. So it's not a fun corner. It's an interesting track, and It gets rid of the weak pretty quick, but keeps the strong very close together.
I was saying earlier, Josh, that these cars really aren't set up for road courses, aren't they? They're very stiff, and this track has got a lot of undulations and bumps and turns. And if you got a little bit too much brake, a little bit too much acceleration, you're gonna lose the car.
Yeah, exactly. Because with the fixed setups that Nick runs, we still allowed the anti-roll bar adjustment. So a lot of us were just softening and just trying to let the car just get around it without trying to keep the car a solid brick.
So lap 28. Sorry, mate, you go.
Oh, you're right. Carry on.
Okay, cool. I just thought you'd finish. I'll jump in here and say lap 28. McHugh, Moyes, Rayhana, Wilson, Cook, and Thomas, the top 6. Where do we go? Does anyone opt to pit this time? Yes, they do. McHugh and Moyes are in. Rayhana follows them. Does anyone... Oh, yeah, they're all in. Wilson, Cook, Thomas. They're all heading down towards pit lane. Nick's sitting there in 8th at the moment. I'm sure he'll jump in as well, but this is the problem. I'm a bit... Oh, actually, no, Nick opts to carry on. I'm a little bit disappointed. So Nick only pitted, where was it, lap 24. Cautions come out lap 27, 28. He's got no real need to pit right now. But again, 28 laps, that's trying to stretch a fuel load 17 laps to get home. I don't see it happening. I see there being a splash and dash at the end here.
Splash and dash and maybe throw the reds on.
Exactly. And that'll suit Jackson Rayhana to a T. So McHugh, Moyes, Rayhana, Cook, Wilson, Thomas, Vincent. On lap 29, Fodiatis, Turner and Hodak, the top 10. What's interesting for mine is that how far the field was separated as those pit stops started unfolding. So McHugh, Moyes and Rayhana essentially just got a free pass there. They essentially got in, got the top up and got back out without losing a position. Now the field starts to bunch up. Now the fireworks begin to happen.
Yeah, so as we know, yellows breed yellows, as they say. So really interesting.
But not here, unfortunately.
Well, I hope we don't have another yellow or a safety car. But if the field's packed and going to get a little compressed a bit, I think there may be a few hotheads in there that want to try and get their lap back or get on the lead lap. So let's see what happens.
Let's wait and see. Now, caution. There's still lights on that safety car, so caution's going to go around one more time. And as Nico said, wave rounds are an issue here as well. Chris Kisby's ducked out. He's no longer with us at the moment, folks. We might hear from the great man a little bit later on. Sitting down there, lapping it up in the upper aisle. 9:36 on a Friday night. Hope you're enjoying it wherever you're tuning in. 6:36 in the west. And if Paul Murray can get away with some of the language he uses at 6 o'clock, I'm thinking we need to loosen the rules here a little bit too. Because I've greatly enjoyed watching his editorials of the last 2 nights on Paul Murray Live, where he's stuck it to the Queensland politicians, particularly the Deputy Premier. A certain 5-letter word beginning with P, if you want to play guess the word. And if he can get away with using that in what is essentially prime time, I'm thinking that our PG portion of the evening can start a lot earlier than what it is at the moment. Because I normally hold off until 7 o'clock Perth time, but let's bring it forward to 6:30, I think.
What was the word, Zach? Purple?
No, that's a 6-letter word, you idiot. Oh, dear. I love it. Hey, Bevan Morris is the race leader here at the moment. No, I better not encourage anyone. I just got it in my ear that we're not going green. Not going green this time by. The caution flag has been thrown. There'll be one more lap behind the caution. Who's your tip from here, Nico? Does Bevan Moyes hold this, or does Rayhana or McHugh, who's just gone in for a splash and dash, I might add, and I heard that in my ear a couple of seconds ago, rather. Or does someone like Rick Vincent, Nick Fodiatis, Josh Thomas bring a surprise? Josh Thomas sitting 5th at the moment, up 18 positions. That's one of the drives of the night.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. I mean, geez, it's such a talented top 5, isn't it? You think where they are at the moment. I mean, I would say based on form, Bevan. Really, that's my tip.
Rightio, Bevan Moyes to be the first double-up winner of the season. Let's wait and see how that goes. Devon Moyes, Jackson Ray Hunter, Angus Cook, Brett Wilson, Brady Mchugh, Josh Thomas, Jonathan Turner, Rick Vincent, Nick Fodiatis, and Frank Hodak, the top 10. Hodak's just been relieved by the safety car. He's going around to unlap himself. Vincent and Fodiatis will be trying to get back out on the racetrack very shortly. Fodiatis has pipped Rick Vincent in the pit lane, in fact, so there you go. Fodiatis up into 8th, but they've got a lot of work to do to catch the course car. That's why we're not going green this time. So when we do go green, it'll be 14 laps to go. Hope you're enjoying Friday Night Motorsport for the Gentleman Sim Racing Club from the Sonoma Raceway in California. I'm going to get a time frame here for you. So we've got to 30 laps complete now in, what's that across the line? 43 minutes and 22 seconds. They're only just going to squeeze it in on the time certainty, I have to say, because this extra caution lap is going to push us closer to that 1 hour 5 cutoff. But just under 22 minutes of racing to go here. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast wherever you're tuning in. Around Australia, we're here with thanks to Sharp Extensive I.T and also the great people at Motorfocus, Quality Scale Models. And a big g'day and hello and welcome back to the Wulbundry Hotel to the great people, Adam St. John and his team down there at the Wulbundry Hotel, because, let's face it, we haven't done a good enough job in getting you smashed tonight. So let's just go right now, wherever you're at. Bottoms up. Let's go down the hatch.
Double six, Wulbundry Hotel. Double six.
Exactly, because of the fact that they've spent a lot of the week out of the pub, Paul. They've been getting the place renoed, putting some new flooring down. They got the memo that the Gentleman Sim Racing Club wants to do an away round sometime in the not too distant future. Can you imagine that? It's a boring drive down the highway towards Victoria, but it'll be worth it when we get to Wulbundry. I can guarantee you that.
We'll have to pack up our sim rigs and get on a land down there.
Anyone within the club got a transporter we can borrow so that we can fit them all in?
I'm sure there would be.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that'll be fantastic. And the rest of us, well, we'll get a train, we'll take cars, we'll do whatever, but we're all going to Wulbundry. I cannot wait. That'll be one of the highlights of the off-season in December, January of 2021-22, because I'll be back down in Progressive Civilization by that point, of course. 15 laps to go becomes 14 when they cross the line. Lights out on the safety car. We're getting ready to go. 14 laps left. And what has been a captivating round of the Road to Indy series. The Sharp and Motorfocus on a Friday night. The Gentleman Sim Racing Club, live and exclusive edition to Sim Shed Broadcasting. We are getting set to go. Moyes, Rayhana, Cook, Wilson, Thomas and Mchugh to bring them back to the line. When we go green, we get back racing. Green flag flies. Here we go. The run to the checkered flag begins now. And Devon Moyes immediately skips clear of Jackson Rayhana. Angus Cook goes with his teammate, Brett Wilson and Josh Thomas as well, to the top of the hill. 19 minutes left on the clock, 14 laps to go.
The top two are on the red sidewall soft compound, and Angus is on the harder compound.
And this is the thing. We know that at some point they've got to come in for a stop. When they come in, his tyre selection is going to be such a critical part of this final stanza of the race. There's no doubt about that. Have a look at Josh Thomas applying the pressure to Brett Wilson here. Side by side around the carousel. Thomas around the outside. That puts him on the inside as they come up to the right. And drive them around. Oh, Josh Thomas, all the hard work undone. He loses 3 places in all of that. Now Jonathan Turner has most positions gained with 18. Thomas was on track for most positions gained and one slight little hiccup, and it's all come undone.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Unbelievable.
A little bit too much, what do they say?
A little too much gas.
Yeah, a little bit too much gas. Yeah, unfortunate for Josh.
Too hot on the pedal. Hot and heavy on the pedal. Just a little bit. A smidgen. That's all it was. It's those little 1 and 2%ers that set Devon Moyes and Jackson Rayhana apart from the rest, although it hasn't been a perfect night for Rayhana, but he's going to have his chance now. He's right there with Moyes. 0.4 of a second between first and second in this car race. 7.5 minutes to go. But don't worry, we'll get the 13 laps in on those numbers. extraordinary night here at Sonoma Raceway, the midway point of the championship, midway point of the season for the club, full stop. I know a lot of them getting ready for a big weekend with the 12-hour, but we'll talk about that later. Our season kicks into the second half on Monday night. Good move down there on the inside as well. And that was Fodiatis getting by Thomas, so Nick's up into 7th. And Thomas now has 3 positions to gain if he's to outdo Jonathan Turner on most positions gained. He's got 18 of them. Fodiatis now with 6 positions gained. He sits 7th. A long way back for Nick in what's been probably a frustrating night at the office. But let's not forget, 7th after a penalty. Not a bad run for him. Aidan Rice in the pit lane at the moment. Top 10 still on the lead. Right, Reinhardt, Matson, Lavis, Gray. And they're all down a lap or 2. Stark's down 4 laps. Cousins down 7 laps out of the race, I think. Gary Cousins. So too Luke Wood. So too Mark Wood. Jason Dunn also out. Josh Millard. We had him here in the booth for such a long time, but he's not back in the race now. He's probably spotting for his 2 teammates, either Ray Harner or Cook. Probably Ray Harner, given the position that he's in, putting the pressure on Moyes here. Jared Daly was an early retirement. So too Wayne Visser, Sean Rees, and Julia Mookie. And what has been a very big race here at the Sonoma Raceway in California. A lot to debrief on the other side of this, don't worry. And we've got a full post-race show to come, taking you through to about 10:30 Eastern Daylight Time. Through they go one more time. Moyes, Ray Harner. High rate of attrition, but another big bumper entry field. The numbers here have been superb. We cannot wait for the season finale because that's going to be 90 minutes around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on Good Friday. If there aren't 40 cars on that grid, we're not trying hard enough. Up through turn 1 and 2. Ray Harner continues to put the pressure on Moyes, but for these two, everything has to be centimetre perfect from this point forward, Paul Nichols.
Yeah, absolutely. Josh Miller was talking about these tyres, the red wall tyres, that probably 5 laps optimum. Guess who's got the white wall tyres on? Angus Cook is only 4.5 seconds off the lead, so really interested to see how that goes.
Indeed. Nice couple of little bits of strategy at play here. Little bits and pieces to keep an eye on over the next couple of laps.
And then behind
Josh Thomas was just in the lane. Jonathan Turner and Aidan Rice as well. And Thomas served 45 seconds as well, Paul, so that's got to be a stop and hold. Surely Josh Thomas has just copped a penalty there.
Penalty, yes, I'd say. Yep.
Extraordinary.
Had been Black Hancock, was it? Oh, actually, no, that's Jonathan Hancock. Oh, no, actually, yeah, it was Jonathan Thomas.
Josh Thomas.
Yeah, Josh Thomas, Black Flag, yep.
Jonathan Turner also, so they're now back level. They're 9th and 10th. There's not much in at 4 seconds, but they're tied on 14 positions gained apiece. So Turner's had to go in late in the piece here and fuel up to get to the end. I think a few people are going to be in that same predicament very shortly. So this race is not over. Josh Thomas and Jonathan Turner are going to resume their Dyson duel for the most positions gained and the bonus points associated with that tonight. Frank Hodak now in the lane as well.
Really good
Devin
battle.
Moyes, his fastest lap of the race last time by 1:16.54. So too Brett Wilson, a 17.59. And Ray Harner just continues to sit there and apply the pressure.
Brady and Brett Wilson. So Brett Wilson and Brady Mchugh will get battle here. They're both on the hard compound tyres.
What a great night this has been. I'm loving this IndyCar series. Next week it's oval racing. It's Gateway. I mean, it's a hit and miss sort of track. It sometimes throws up great racing, sometimes doesn't. But then Phillip Island, Barber Motorsports Park is in there as well. Milwaukee, the mile in Wisconsin. And then, of course, we ended at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the most sacred land as far as IndyCar racing is concerned. Looped. We got a car around there. Angus Cook has gone around and has lost 2 places. He's lost out to Brett Wilson. He's lost out to Brady Mchugh. Let's watch it now. He's in the pit lane for what will be his last pit stop. Unfortunate for Angus Cook.
Hit the curb on the inside and just spun the car.
Chris Kisby rejoins us. An update from you, mate.
Yeah, just a contact 386 contact on car 173 drive through.
That's right. It's Jonathan Thomas, yeah.
Yeah, John
Yep.
Thomas, yeah.
So that's why he was in there for 40 seconds. That explains that, Nico. So Nick Fodiatis all of a sudden sits sixth. And I think if he can get past Rick Vincent, he's only a second down the road. He'll take a top 5 tonight in what's been a very challenging and frustrating at times night at the office for our great mate. I think he'd take a top 5 here.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Be interesting to talk to him after the race. Whether there's steam in his.
It's nice to talk.
I don't know. I think he's might have one of those frustrating nights.
I hope you put the anti-mist on his visor.
Yeah,
I was going to say the red mist would have descended very early there for him. And I mean, this is his baby. He will get a win at some point. We know this. It's this is his baby, this series, and it's so nice to see it being so well supported. Everyone's just embracing some open wheeler stuff, enjoying the challenge, enjoying the mix of tracks and ovals and road circuits and street courses. It's been really good stuff, and more of that in season 3, please. But of course, we're looking forward to the return of people like Brenton Hobson and Callum Watmore when we get back to stock car racing in season 2. In fact, let's be honest, if we could, and there's no reason why we couldn't on a Friday night next season, because we'll be back in 3 time zones instead of 5. There's got to be room for both stock cars and IndyCar, because both of them would be superbly supported, given what we were seeing with the ARCA cars in the top split last year. At the back end, we were getting fields of 20-25 a week. So I'm looking forward to some stock cars, but already looking forward to season 3 of IndyCar. And I've seen the list of tracks that Nick's got lined up there. Holy moly, we're in for some good fun. And one other thing too, as we continue to watch Bevan Moyes here, and Rayhana dives very late into the pit lane. My goodness, that was a late jump from Jackson Rayhana. Brady Mchugh was off the circuit there just momentarily as well. I think that might be the topic of a Flash Graphics flashback here. Here's Rayhana. Mchugh's a little bit too far down the road to be seen on this one, but Rayhana at the last minute here just dived into the pit lane. So he compromised his run into the pit lane as Bevan Moyes continued on. No harm, no foul. Wow. What we should point out too, folks, with regards to Gateway next week, night racing, which was so popular last week with Las Vegas. We're going night racing again next week. Night racing seems to be the flavour of the month at the moment, boys, because we've had 2 night race finishes this week with Sebring and Le Mans. So I'm all for it.
Put the extra headlights on.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't work for IndyCar, but certainly worked for the sports cars tonight at Le Mans.
Yeah, so it took us a little while to sort out the wave rounds under the yellow, so we had an extra lap. It's just when they pop in and out of the pits all the time and everything's it's really hard to keep track of them and get them around. So we wanted to make sure we did it right, and I think we covered them all. We got the leader behind the pace car. That was the main thing.
Just looking at the lap times here, Nick last time around 1:19.5, Bevan Moyes 1:16.8. You don't think Nick's already fuel saving to try and get to the end without an extra stop, do you?
That would surprise me.
Yeah, anything's possible. You know what Nick's favourite saying is, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, is if you don't try it, you've got to try something different.
That takes the theory out of and blows it out of the water.
Yeah.
Because he's in the pit lane. So Nick's in. His last splash and dash now. Jackson Rayhana continues in second. His last stop was, of course, lap 38. Bevan Moyes yet to stop yet in this last stint. Lap 40 of 45. 6 to go here. And Moyes is half a lap up the road from where Rayhana is right now. And he'll be thinking to himself, well, maybe this is just going to be my night. But it depends on when he stops and what tyres he takes on for the last stint. Oh, he was so close there to kissing the dirt and being a passenger, but he's kept it so clean tonight. This has been a brilliant performance. He's going to go on one more time. Complete lap 45 laps to go. Bevan Moyes, the Kiwi. Oh, what a scintillating performance this has been. Rick Vincent sits there in 6th at the moment. Biggest mover of the night, Jonathan Turner, 17 positions gained. 24th to 7th. Great drive there. And Brady Mchugh still in the pit lane, Paul Nichols, unfortunately. I'm not sure what happened to Brady Mchugh. We didn't see it, but he's out of business. Oh, speaking of out of business, Rick Vincent's had a massive one at the top of the carousel. He ran off the circuit, which is a downhill left-hander, and just drove straight up into the wall. Rick Vincent out of business. This was a strange one, Nico.
I'm just watching it now. Yeah, very strange.
He just went straight.
Yeah. Understeered.
Understeered. Once he got on the grass, there was no steer, and then launched it. Up the hill, bang,
Wow.
gone. And you can tell just how many G-forces are involved in that, with how far he was pushed back.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Brady had an incident, hit the wall and damaged his car quite badly, so he was towed and then he's jumped in for a fast repair, so he's now a lap down, I believe.
Bevan Moyes is in the lane. He's only got to take on a small splash of fuel here. And provided that he can do that cleanly, there should be no stopping him tonight. Rayhana's at the top of the hill, at the top of the circuit on his way down. I can't see him getting to Bevan Moyes. Time will tell. I think that might have been Josh Thomas off the track again. Yes, it was. And his night just keeps going from bad to worse. Moyes is in his box now. When Moyes leaves his box, he will be the leader of this race. Rayhana sits there second at the moment. And Moyes is back out on the racetrack. And that'll be job done, provided he can keep it on the black stuff. Jackson Rayhana just clocked the fastest lap of the race, 1:16.27. 3.4 the margin first to second, but I think Moyes has got this one signed up tonight.
Well, he's got the red sidewall tyres on the soft compound, so he'll be safe to get home with those, and they'll be the super grippy.
One mistake, and it'll be all our fault because we would have put the commentator's curse on it again. But we might finally have our first repeat winner of the season. We had our first repeat pole sitter of the season, I should say, tonight with Jackson Rayhana. And it looks like we might get our first repeat race winner of the season as well. What a performance it's been from Bevan Moyes. He's 2.5 laps from home. He leads by 3.5 seconds to Jackson Rayhana, who's going to throw everything at it, but come up slightly short, I would think. Oh, a little bit of a waggle there from Moyes. Oh, geez. This is good stuff. If you're not enjoying IndyCar on a Friday night, you're difficult to please, because this is just top shelf. I can't wait for the season proper and all those early alarms we're going to all set to get up and compare notes on a Monday morning when Scott McLaughlin's going around testing himself against Scott Dixon, Will Power, and the rest of what is a very, very high-class field this year, Paul Nichols. But this has been a very good entree to what will be the main course of the championship itself.
Absolutely. I think Bevan will be looking in his mirrors. Just Jackson, one of the fastest drivers in the club behind him. So.
Off the circuit! Bevan Moyes is off the circuit! Can you believe that? Just as we said it, the commentators come strikes again! Can you believe this motor race? Oh, Bevan Moyes has thrown away a sudden victory! He just clocked a 1:29.09 on his outlap, which isn't too bad compared to some we've seen. Rayhana closed in with the fastest lap of the race at 1:15.05. Cold tyres possibly an issue there. Maybe just a little bit too eager to get out of that corner. He drove it perfectly 41 times or 42 times, and on the 43rd, the car cried, "I've had enough." Unbelievable. Jackson Rayhana the leader now, and we are all of a sudden staring down the barrel of 5 from 5. Oh, I give up, Nico. You can't throw the script out every time we go IndyCar racing. Just throw the bloody script out.
Actually, said it. You said it. You know, if you can keep it on track, and you know, he didn't eat that pressure. Your pressure behind. You look at your mirrors and you go,
But he had 2.5 seconds.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. Like when they're so evenly matched, he just had to keep it on the black stuff.
Yeah, and now the pressure's on Jackson, actually. So I know Jackson's
that's right.
calm, so I think Jackson's obviously got it in the bag now. Just needs to stay on track. So
he'll be looking at his intervals and noticing the next car, which is Bevan Moyes, is 8 seconds down the road. I don't think he'll be wanting to throw it away. There's good old trusty Nick. He's managed to get himself up into the top 5 here with an off track for Jonathan Turner, Josh Thomas, and someone else on the last lap round as well. Brady Mchugh back out there, but 2 laps down, or nearly 3 laps down now. is Brady Mchugh, 2.5 at least. It's been a disappointing night at the office for him, yet again coming up short in these IndyCar races. But at long last, we haven't said this much outside of the wings and slicks on a Monday night, but Jackson Rayhana is on his way to victory lane. 1 and a bit laps to go. What a race this has been. And we are just going to get there on the time, certainly. Geez, Nick's timing these well at the moment, isn't he? We're going to get into the into the 65th and final minute. White flag, bare lap, 1 to go. And Jackson Rayhana is on his way home in California. What about this for a motor race? It's had its twists and turns. It's had its moments. It's had its controversy and drama, as it always does. But in the end, some of the cream of the crop, the man that started on pole position, is going to bring it home for an emphatic first win in the IndyCar Series. And of course, let's not forget, Nick Vodiatis is the championship leader coming into this round. Jackson needed a good showing to try and creep up the leaderboard. He's got just that. I don't know where we are with regards to incident points tonight. I doubt that anyone's had a clean race, but Rayhana's clocked the fastest lap. He's the only man in the 15s, 1 minute 15.85. And then he scored pole position. He's going to score the win as well. 3 corners to go, 4 corners in fact. The chicane here, the right-hander, and then the hairpin to bring him back onto the main straight. What a performance. Summit Sim Sports are going to start the week on top and end the week on top as well. First time we've been able to say that this year. Jackson Rayhana out of the last corner and gets the job done in California. He wins at Sonoma. Emphatic race. Awesome performance. Clean stuff. He didn't have the cleanest race himself, but he had the clean last stint, which is exactly what he needed. Bevan Moyes home for second. Angus Cook will bring it home for third. Summit Sim Sports go 1 and 3. Brett Wilson and Nick Vodiatis make up the top 5. Oh, Paul Nichols, you can't get enough of IndyCar on a Friday night. That was phenomenal stuff.
Absolute twists and turns, literally through the whole race. What a fantastic race. Awesome effort by Jackson and Angus. What a great drive from Nico as well. Like, fantastic. In the top 5, he's gained, I think he gained there about 8 spots, 7 spots. So, fantastic drive.
Here it is. Celebration time in California for Rayhana. And they will be donuts of celebration. And there's no doubt about that. And relief as well, because he's been waiting to hit his sweet spot so far this season, and he's finally done it. Great stuff. The 2 teammates are going to light it up and have some fun here. Bevan Moyes sits second, Angus Cook third, Brett Wilson, Nick Vodiatis, Jonathan Turner, Josh Thomas. They've not taken the checkered flag yet. They have not taken the checkered flag. And they're in the pit lane for whatever reason, and then they'll take the checkered flag. So that's strange that they've pitted on the last lap. But you've actually got to cross the line, boys. Josh Thomas has now just crossed the line. He's 7th and a lap down, but Jonathan Turner needs to cross the line to secure 6th. There he goes now. He's got the job done. He takes the checkered flag. So we now have our full field across the line. In the end, it looks like only 14 finishes, which is a little bit sad, but you get that sometimes. Extraordinary stuff. Let's bring some drivers in to have a chat here post-race. Paul Nichols, stay with me for just a couple of minutes here, and I'll get some comments from you with regards to the 12-hour coming up this weekend in just a moment. Those race results were just up on the screen. If we can bring them back, JP, that'd be fantastic. Jackson Rayhana, the winner, the victor in California from Bevan Moyes and Angus Cook. Brett Wilson home for 4th, and Nick Vodiatis rounds out the top 5. Then Jonathan Turner, Josh Thomas, Aiden Rice, Declan Reinhardt, and Brady Mchugh made up the top 10. Not McHugh's night in the end. We've got him here in the broadcast booth to have a chat in just a moment. Rick Vincent, Dylan Gray, Adam Lavis, and Chris Stark round out the 14 finishes tonight. So essentially half of, not quite, just a little bit more than half of the starters round out our finishes there, and only 6 cars on the lead lap in the end. Jonathan Turner secures the bonus point for most positions gained. Rayhana gains the bonus point for fastest lap, if that's a thing. And of course, we've had a great night of racing there. Guys, thank you for coming into the post-race chat. We'll get to you in just a moment. I'm going to let Paul Nichols have a couple of moments here with us, if he can unmute his microphone, if you're still there with me, Nico, because the club is very heavily represented in the Bathurst 12 hour this weekend, and I do want to mention that before Nico departs, because it's just gone 10 o'clock down there, and I think he's on the 7 a.m. Race tomorrow morning, so he'll be off to get some practice, get some sleep, and then get stuck into it. As soon as he comes back, we'll go to him. In the meantime, let's throw the conversation around here. I'm going to start with Chris Stark, because you were the last of the finishers there. At least you stayed with it, mate, but the computer wanted to be temperamental tonight.
Yeah, I had a bit of a shocker. I got a little bit caught up with Gus. Gus was a bit slower than I thought, and I was on cold tyres. Then I went off, and then I hit poor Maverick, and that was all me. I got a penalty for it.
Yep.
But after my tow, I went off again. I had no force feedback, and then my screen was freezing up, so I thought, I'm out. Do a quick reboot, come back, and I had to drive that race with no force feedback. It was a nightmare. And
the bad news is race control wanted to give you a drive-through or a penalty of some description as well, because of something that happened in the opening couple of laps. And because you exited the server, I think they're going to hit you with that post-race. Not that it'll affect your position.
I did the drive-through they gave me. That was for the accident with Adam.
All right then. That's all right then. Because I did get two messages there. One regarding the quit, and then when you jump back in, I think Kisby's gone in and fixed that up for us. So, but I was going to say, either way, it wouldn't have mattered, because you were 14th and you were the only one 4 laps down, and there was no one finishing behind you. So you had 14th either way. That played out.
Congrats to Jax, though. That was a great win, Jax. Well done.
We're going to get to him in just a moment. Don't worry about that. We'll have a good chat with Jackson Rayhana tonight, because there's a lot to dissect there. We're going to get to Brady Mchugh in a moment as well. Just sticking with you, Starkey. Nice to have you back in form after your holiday. Obviously, the holiday not long enough for you to lose your mojo in the sim. But does that mean we've now got you on deck for the rest of the season, or are you off on another holiday before Dan locks you down again?
I'm here next Friday. I think the Friday after that I'm going to be away. I'm going down towards Dale's place. So we'll see what happens. But I wouldn't call tonight form. Although qualifying and practice was good, the race was a shocker, an absolute shocker.
Yeah, but not all your fault. And at least, unlike some, you persevered with it and got through to the finish. So that's to be appreciated and admired as well. Hey, mate, great to have you on board. Good to have you back. Obviously,
I'm probably the oldest too, Zach. So I'm nearly 50. So.
and a great night for the Summit Sim Sport team. So
congrats to the boys, Jackson.
Yeah. Exactly. Good stuff there, mate. We'll catch up with you very soon. Let's throw the conversation around here. I want to go to Brady Mchugh before I get to our winners and our top 5, because we've got Brett Wilson in here as well. In fact, I'm just having a look through. The only one we haven't got in here is Bevan Moyes. So we've got 4 of the top 5. We'll get to them in just a moment. Let me go to Brady Mchugh first. That was a case of what might have been, mate, because you had pace, you had track position. What happened in the closing stages? I can't say that we saw the incident that took you out of contention here.
No, mate, my fault completely. I actually just got my tires all wrong in terms of order that I wanted to use them, and those tires are about 2.5 stints old, so just spun by myself, mate, and then had no grip. So yeah, my fault completely. And other than that, it was a good race with Jackson and Bevan there. So unlucky, but I'll press on.
Indeed, and to be fair, mate, you must take confidence from the speed of the car tonight. I mean, there's a win in you just yet as far as the IndyCars are concerned. The competitiveness at the front end of the field, though, between particularly tonight, you, Moyes, and Rayhana, that was just fantastic to watch. It must have been nice to be a part of that high intensity, high action stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I mean, it was, Nick's put such a good series together. There's just enough adjustability in the cars with the roll bars and your tyre choice. So it really shows, obviously, Jackson, his strategy worked tonight, and he had that worked out. So props to him for that. But, mate, awesome series, and we'll have another crack next week and see how we go.
Indeed, they will. All right, let's work our way up towards the top 5 now. And great to have you on board as always, Brady Mchugh. Stay with us, mate, because we'll get your thoughts on the next round now that we're at the halfway point of the season before we wrap up here. But let's focus on the race that was. Plenty to dissect. Angus Cook, let's go to you, third. I mean, it was a case of what might have been because you had good pace as well. Just a couple of unforced errors there along the way. Listen to me talking like a tennis commentator, fair dinkum. A couple of errors there that cost you a bit of time, and in the end, you were able to bring it home in third. So, no, not a bad result, but it's a case of what might have been.
Well, yeah, I thought P4 was going to be my best result. Oh, best, yeah, behind Brady, Bevan, Jackson. So pretty much that was my aim, P4. So to get P3 in the end is great. I had it in a fuel-saving map up until the safety car. So I was doing 121s, 122s for that whole first stint when the leaders were doing 16s, 17s, 18s. So pretty much my strategy there was to let anyone who wants to come by save as much fuel as I can, which gave me a few extra laps, which kind of didn't matter in the end with the safety car coming out where it was. And then on that last stint, had my first incident points with the little spin, which put me behind Brett, but then he had his own little moment. So really, it's where I would have finished anyway. So yeah, really happy to just survive. And yeah, to get snag a podium at the end. Yeah, great result. Yeah, thanks to Flash Graphics for sponsoring the team. And yeah, he's got a real good car. So it looks, yeah, real nice out on track. Good to drive too.
I'm coming back to you in a moment, Gus. I want to go to Nick because I can see him intently looking at his data and all that there at the moment. Mate, well done on fifth, firstly. Secondly, we described it in the broadcast as the safety car came at a time that didn't really benefit or disadvantage anyone. It was the case of if you wanted to stop there, you could, but you were going to have to stop again later. And thirdly, just talk us through your night because it looked frustrating there in the opening quarter, but you bounced back pretty well.
Well, that's it. I mean, in the first part of the race, I'm always racing to the safety car. I just want to get good track position, get in the spot and avoid all these accidents. After my first stop, I came out through turn 3 and 3A over the top of the hill where Will Power got injured.
That's right.
Unfortunately, the back end stepped out of me and I tried to recover it and then I got run over. So that was unfortunate. And then I got hit again. So I do believe I got the penalty for impeding somebody. So it's still a mystery to me. I'm going to have a chat to them, obviously, just find out why I got the penalty. But first in-race penalty I've had in a very long time, handed out by race control. Other than that, no, it was a good race. Just a bit frustrating that behind the safety car, we had to catch right up.
Yep.
And then we got our wave around and it was one to go, but luckily they threw a couple more. But my teammate Gary was the first car right behind the safety car and he was a couple laps down and he didn't get a wave around. He got really frustrated and left. So it was the night for learning. It was the night for sweating because I can tell you right now, it's still like 35 degrees here in Brisbane. And I did not think a top 5 was on the cards after I got hit at the start. So come away with the top 5 and still be on the lead lap, the only car to do so, over all 5 races. I'm very happy with that.
He doesn't mind rubbing that little salt into the wound about that fact, and who can blame him, actually?
The ladders stand strong beside me, so, you know, got to get
Paul Nichols is back, and about time, too. Good to have you back, sir,
Actually,
because
I just want to ask Jackson, what are you drinking, Jackson, by the way? Is that a sponsor?
That's the good stuff.
The shoe.
Sponsor to be.
If we can get that up, I don't know. Can we get that up on screen? That Jackson's got some CC and dry there. That's God's liquid, mate. That is the way to go, and probably an opportune moment to bring him in because 5 rounds, 5 different winners at one point there. No, I'm not endorsing shoeies, Chris. You just dropped that right off right now.
I've got a water bottle. I mean, I can.
No. Let's not. Let's just straighten up here, boys. There are a lot of things we'll get away with. I'm not going down the shoey road. Hey, Jackson, congratulations, mate. Finally breaking through in the IndyCar series. I feel like it's been a while coming. First pole position to race winner conversion this season. 5th different winner of the season. The stats are racking up. Of course, you're the first guy to get multiple pole positions in the series as well. So you're setting all the records tonight. Fastest up at the race too. Did you get? I don't think you would have got 0 incidents though, because it wasn't the easiest opening 2 stints. But by gee, the last stint couldn't have gone any better.
Oh mate, it was good evening, by the way.
At long last.
Should never forget that. Should never forget my manners. Yeah, oh mate, that whole race was just a roller coaster of emotion. It's pretty quiet. It was just me and Gus in the Discord. So we were both working each other out, and it was very fly by wire, for lack of a better word. We just went with the fly. We realised we double stinted the blacks really early in the race, and just realised they were not the tyre to be on. The blacks were terrible. I did a lot of practice on the blacks because my rule is I don't like touching the reds very much unless I have to for quali, and if I want to do, because I just pick up too many bad habits, and I go back to the blacks and I feel like, oh, the car, just doesn't feel as good as it did before. That first stint was it was horrendous. It was just trying to stay in front of Brady and Bevan, and man, to their credit, they were putting all the pressure in the world on me. It took a mistake for them to get around, and that mistake there was very, very nearly the end of the race. It might not have looked very big on TV, but I was I was on the white line. Like, I was literally holding onto the white line, and one more inch over to the right, and it would have been game over. So yeah, that was a big moment. But yeah, look, Gus and I sort of worked out. We adapted. We decided the red was the tyre to be on, and so that double stint on the blacks to the safety car, I think really made our race for us, because we had another set of reds to a fresh set of reds in our final stop, threw them on, and yeah, we had the pace, and I didn't really need to catch Bevan because he made his own mistake, unfortunately. But yeah, up until that point, I thought he had me.
We're going to get to Bevan in just a moment. He's just joined us here in the chat room, and we appreciate it too because it's very late there across the ditch. Hey, Paul Nichols, are you on a time frame at the moment because of the 7 a.m. start with the 12 hour tomorrow morning?
Not at this stage. No, look, I'm a big boy. I can stay up to kind of,
He's not doing the first stint.
I'm not. I won't be doing the first stint, I'd say. But looking forward to it tomorrow. We'll talk about that later.
All right, good. Because I didn't want to let you go without doing that, but if you're happy to stick around, we'll hold that off for the moment. That's good. Let's fire on through. Bevan Moyes, welcome into the chat room. Heartbreak for you, because for 42 and 3/4 laps, if you can just unmute your microphone and join us there too, please, mate. Heartbreak because, let's face it, for 42 and 3/4 laps, that was perfect. One slight spin, unfortunately, brings you undone, and you were on track to be the first repeat winner of the season. For 95% of the night, that was a solid performance. The slightest mistake cost you the win, but second is a good haul of points regardless, mate. Well done. Okay, we haven't got Bevan at this point in time. We'll get back to him in just a moment as soon as he sorts out Discord. But Jackson, let me come back to you since we are talking about the race winning. We were actually following you at the time. You clocked the fastest lap of the race. We followed you, and then we saw you drive past young Bevan there. What was going through your mind when you saw that? Because the margin was 3.5 seconds. We thought that Bevan had cruised that home, given how evenly you guys were matched all night. What went through your mind as soon as you saw that?
Well, I think it was 1 or 2 laps after he'd just come out of the pits, and I'd pulled about 1.5 seconds on him on his out lap, so I thought, okay, I might catch him here, but man, as the first stint proved, it's very, very, very hard to pass unless you can force the driver in front to make a mistake. So I thought I might have a chance of catching him, but yeah, I was getting ready to just fall back and take the points in second, and yeah, at first I thought it was a lap car spinner, and I had a quick glance at my relative and saw it was him, and Josh. He was also on the radio. He's like, yeah, spinner. Oh, it's Bevan. I'm like, oh wow. Yeah, and that's sort of. I think it was when I realised it was just alright. Just time to dial it back now, and it's game over pretty much. Just cruise to the finish line.
Yeah, that was my next question. How was the heart rate for that next lap and 3/4 when you knew you were the leader? Your relative was showing 8.5 seconds, but you knew, based on everything that had happened so far tonight and what had just happened to Bevan there, you knew that a mistake would bring it all undone. You knew that there was possible. What was going through your mind? How was the heart rate?
It was okay. Well, when you dial it back, sort of because I knew I had the gap, and I knew I was on. I think I was on better. I'm not sure if Bevan took tyres at the last stop, but I was under the impression that he hadn't. So I knew I was on better tyres. I knew the tyre there was going to be no issues with the tyre like there was with the second stint when I did that second stint on the blacks. So yeah, the car felt good. I was confident in the car, so I backed it off. And yeah, just cruised the last 3 laps home.
All right, Bevan, I think we've got you now, mate. Welcome in. Second's a good haul of points, but obviously you must be disappointed that it went so beautifully for 43 laps, only to come undone on the 44th. What exactly happened? Talk us through it.
Yeah, well, have you got me now?
Yeah, we got you, mate. Loud and clear.
Yeah. So yeah, when that I double stinted the reds at first on the first one, and yeah, that was all good. It was a bit slow, but kept it together. And then when the safety car came out, I accidentally took another set. I should have just kept going because I had to stop again. So ended up finishing the race on 15 lap old tyres, and yeah, trying to push a bit hard at the end to keep Jackson behind, but couldn't do it.
All right. Sorry, I just had a message coming through from the director, but that's not going out on air, so that's okay. We'll just press on here. Paul Nichols, I'll come back to you in a moment. Nick, Bevan just mentioned it, tyre strategy, and there was a limit on tyres tonight. It's another little bit of strategy play. It's another little bit of real world stuff creeping into the sim world. It's good to see, and it spices things up, and tonight proved that.
Yeah, having the limited tyres actually makes it a bit more real world-ish, realistic, if you want to call it that, because unless you got a budget like Ferrari, you can't just keep throwing tyres at your car. So
yeah,
it gets the drivers to think on the trot, think on the spot. I know the Bailey Ladders car, I was double stinting blacks pretty much the whole way, and then in that short 7-lap stint at the end, I threw reds at it. So I haven't used reds pretty much the whole season, maybe Road America, but yeah, we know the tank is half an actual full tank, and we know that the cars can go full tank on the tyres. So 2 tanks on one set of tyres makes proper sense.
And I was going to say, just looking there at 3 and 4 stop strategies as well. Pit Road got a fair workout tonight. Let's bring in Brett Wilson at this point in time, with apologies for not getting to him until this point. Hey, mates, gained 3 spots, ran home 4th. It looked, judging by we didn't see too much of it on the screen tonight because all the action was happening in and around you, not with you. It looked like a lonely race, but in this particular instance, given all the drama that unfolded, I think you'd be fairly happy with that, yeah?
Yeah, good evening, guys. Mate, if you told me I'd finish 4th after all the dramas I had tonight, oh, mate, I tell you, from pedals half failing, fuel not going in, wrong.
Discord cutting out right now, so the tech issues continue. Go, Brett, have we got you still? There we go.
How's that? Still there?
Yep,
Gotcha.
keep going, mate.
Yeah,
out there. We weren't
just a crazy night. I'm really happy with that, considering it's just really fighting with the hardware tonight, and yeah, really off pace from practice. Yeah, I was just wanting to bring it home in one piece, and just managed to do that. Had a few good battles along the way, made a couple of little mistakes at the end, and a very lengthy pit stop, which didn't help. But you know what? I'll take 4th tonight, that's for sure.
I was just looking at the previous results, Brett. You've done well. So you've had this is your 3rd race, point scoring race. So we've had two events. We had so this is the 5th race. You've had 2 events you hadn't competed in. So like you're doing really well in the championship. When you think about the next, you've got what 5 rounds to go.
5 rounds to go. Yep.
Yeah. So mate, you're up there definitely.
Yeah, thanks guys. Trying. It's love the series, love the open wheel cars. So yeah, hopefully I can get up closer to the pointy end and have some good racing next week.
Indeed, I'm very much looking forward to next week. Before we go any further, just having a look here, some really good stats to jot down going into next week. Adam Lavis was 2nd coming into this round, but I don't think he featured all that well up in the results sheet. So Nick should hold on to his championship lead, and Jackson will be right there clawing closely. So it's on for young and old like Donkey Kong when we get to Gateway next Friday night. Looking forward to that. The thing that concerns me, though, Paul Nichols, we're into week 5 of a 10-week season of a 40-week year, because it's a bit like school. We have a 6-week break over summer and then 2-week breaks during the terms as well. And already so many technical failures in week 5. It could be an expensive and or a frustrating year, or both.
So look, I mean, it's like real world, isn't it? You have tech issues or car issues or pit crew issues, or something goes wrong. I mean, we had an issue the other night where a driver unfortunately was removed from a server accidentally by race control. It happens. That's life. Like, you just got to get on with it. It is what it is, as one of my favourite sayings. Nico, Pop, you know the saying, it happens. Life goes on. Get over it.
Not Zach's favourite saying.
No, I know that. That's why I say it.
Well, that's it. Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, I equate it to the $2 part in the car that fails. Same thing. And especially if you're a Queenslander, it's stinking hot up here. My computer room's piping hot, and I'm keeping an eye on the temperatures because numerous times I've had hardware failure because it's just gotten so hot it melted the solder.
I mean, your radiator fails on a race car, it's going to kill the engine, isn't it? So it's like same thing.
If I was making a little bit more money, I'd be moving the computer software setup out into the lounge room and running the air conditioner while we broadcast, because the fan just does not keep up. There's no doubt about that. Hey, and that's based purely on what Nick was saying there about the computer heat and everything else. It is very, very warm, to say the least, in Ipswich on a Friday night. Let's throw the conversation around here. Bevan, I mean, that was almost looking like you were going to be the first repeat winner of the season. Long Beach couldn't have gone any better for you. Here for that, if it weren't for that one little slip up, this couldn't have gone any better for you. As far as the road courses are concerned, you look right at home in the IndyCar.
I really enjoy them. I work 7 on, 7 off, so I'm not here for the ovals at this stage. But hopefully next season I'll have a few weeks off and get to do a bit more racing on a Friday night. Hopefully the IndyCars are still going.
Well, Nick, this is the thing, right? This is the popularity of the IndyCar. Everyone's calling for more. Is there any chance that we double it up with the stock cars on a Friday night next season?
Oh, never say never.
All right. I like that idea. I just thought I'd throw it out.
Have a triple Friday.
Well, this is right. This is the part of the night where we throw out ideas.
Stock cars, IndyCar.
And we know that I mean, Carl Watmore, Brenton Hobson can't wait for the stock cars to come back. We know Jackson will have a crack there as well. So happy day. How's that victory drink going down, Mr. Ray Hunter, please?
Mate, I've already sunk.
I noticed that you weren't holding it anymore, so I thought that's gone down very quickly and very nicely. They always do. They're like lolly water, those Canadian clubs. They're fantastic. Hey, and I'm all for getting a sponsorship deal out of Canadian Club for the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club as well, for personal reasons. Although that being said, I netted 2 cartons last week for hosting people for the karting nationals, so I'm topped up for a little while. Hey, let's throw the conversation around.
I have a question for the winner, Jackson Rayhana. What did your dad say?
Say, good job, son. Nice work.
Was he
very a very Formula One engineer-esque.
He probably said, "Well done on beating Gus for once."
Well, this question was for you, Gus, because I know your dad gets stuck into you. What did your dad say?
He's out at a concert or something tonight. He said he can't watch, but he knows that he can watch it and rewind, and that's the beauty of the broadcast. Hey.
Yeah.
I think Angus's dad is actually my biggest fan.
Yeah, that's actually true. He watches Jackson's stream more than mine. So.
Oh, no, Jesus. Wow. All right. So, throwing it around back to you, Gus. We'll keep the conversation rolling here while we've still got everyone in the house, because we are at the halfway mark of the season. Gus, you've got Jackson's measure in the good old TCR battle on a Thursday night that we're all enjoying at the moment. He's now got your measure on a Friday night, although you're at 1 win apiece. It's purely on championship points that he's got the measure there. What's the secret to catching this bloke over the next 5 weeks?
Beat him? I don't know.
I don't know. I said, what's the secret to catching him, not beating him?
Oh, catching him?
What can you learn from his performance and take with you for the next 5 weeks?
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Consistency's key. Although I like to think that I'm already pretty good at that. I think it's just those last 3 or 4 tenths where you can and can't push the car. the
Yep.
IndyCar's pretty foreign to me. If this series didn't exist, I probably wouldn't touch it. So it's good to
Fair
be challenged, and yeah, you can definitely learn, off the people who are around you. Even as you're passing back markers, as people are coming past you. Like when Brett came past me and he was leading me, probably straight away. I hadn't followed a car for probably 20, 30 laps, and as soon as I was behind him, I was picking up half a second just following the car in front. So I like to adapt as I'm driving, and I think a lot of people need to do that because these cars are pretty much a challenge. And yeah, it's pretty much survival to that safety car, which played out tonight. Yeah, so I think in every series here, consistency is key. I didn't race in the first round, so if I had snagged a top 5 there, I would have been right behind Nick on points coming into tonight, probably 105-ish. So I think, yeah, with that drop round towards the end, as the points start to accumulate and count in the drop rounds, I think I'm right there. It's just a case of being here on a Friday.
Well, that's exactly right. And of course, Indianapolis is a double points round when we get there in 5 weeks' time. Nick, the first 5 weeks feel as though they've absolutely flown by. And we're loving the variety that we're seeing in terms of race winners, fastest laps, pole sitters, 4 pole sitters, 5 race winners so far. I mean, Gateway offers up a unique challenge, and then so does Milwaukee. But the great unknown is IndyCars around Phillip Island, and that's 2 weeks from now.
I think the whole thing's a great unknown. Yeah, look, it's going to be exciting at Phillip Island. It's going to be a lap that's pretty much going to be full throttle the whole way around. Maybe 3 braking zones I can think of. But yeah, look, the great unknowns, this is the ovals as well. Look, next week I think there's going to be a big repair bill for a lot of cars.
That's
because
it.
the track is bumpy. Turn 1 and 2 drives like a road course. Turn 3 and 4 is almost like Las Vegas. So it's going to be a compromised setup. There's going to be all sorts of things, strategy to play at hand. The key that I'm learning is I'm really custard at qualifying at the moment, and it's really hampering me. So you've got to put your money on the guys in the top 5, top 10 in the field. I'll have to tune up the driver of the double for you, Big Bailey Ladder's car to get him up the front there. But you can't. What is it? Luck is preparation. Sorry, what is it? Can't remember what it is. But your luck is preparation.
I can't help
for the
because
opportunities. So I didn't prepare tonight too well. But I had to take my opportunities when they presented themselves, and I'm glad I got top 5 out of that.
I was going to say, to be fair, we kept you around a little bit longer than we were planning to, because the first race ran overtime because of qualifying running overtime, and then the 3.5-minute lap at the end as well. But hey, that happens from time to time. Hey, Bevan Moyes, let's go back to you, because, as I say, you've been the foreman across the last 2 road courses. Had it not been, you're so close again tonight. Let's just focus on this for a minute. Long Beach. It's something about the margin for error. No margin for error at Long Beach because you've got concrete walls either side of you. No margin for error here because as soon as you get on the grass or the dirt, you're a passenger. So there's something to be said for keeping it on the racing line, and you've done that pretty well compared to a lot around you who ran into a lot of trouble tonight.
Yeah, it's all about sort of, it goes hand in hand with the tyres. Like, you have to sort of drive within yourself. Otherwise, you overheat the tyres and then it's game over. So, you might be able to do a second a lap quicker, but you just back it off that little bit, and it makes the whole run a lot easier.
Indeed, it does. Jackson Rayhana, it must be nice to, convert some of the form that we've seen on a Monday night in Wings and Slicks to what has been the series that you're throwing everything at this season, and it must give you a little bit of a leg up going into the second half of the championship. But as we just said to Nick, there is some big challenges ahead.
Oh, it's a relief. It's a lot of drivers will say when they get a win, it just takes a lot of weight off your shoulders. It's like, I said to Gus before the race, like, I put a lot of pressure on myself to win these races, more so than any other series, and that's kind of why I love it, because it pushes me to get better. It's the one series at the moment, maybe besides TCR, because I'm chasing Gus, or was busy chasing Gus. It's the one series that I'm really pushing myself to get better at, because it's a car that I really, really, really want to perform at the top level.
Yep.
As the same with Formula 3. Like, Formula 3 is a car that I'm quite comfortable in, where these cars are still far from comfortable. Like, they're a completely different beast. So much power, a lot more strategy. Like, you know, you've got anti-roll bar adjustments, you've got pit strategies, you've got you know, you got push to passes, you got different tires. Like, you got none of that in Formula 3. It's basically just one stop, fill it up, go. And just basically figuring out where to do that stop. Where in these, you got multiple stops, and yeah, as I mentioned, just so much more going on. So I feel like doing this series, taking the skills that I've learnt from this series, jumping back into the F3, will definitely, it'll radiate positively, I think.
Indeed. I just realised it's 12:33 on the other side of the ditch at the moment. Hey, Bevan Moyes, we thank you so much for stopping by to have a chat to us here. Just quickly, obviously with 7 on, 7 off, that makes it hard to get into any sort of rhythm as far as championships are concerned. But what else are you throwing yourself into behind the wheel of the sim rig when you're not at work, mate? Is it just the IndyCars, or where else are you going to pop up across the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, so I'm a New Zealander but live in Queensland, so
Oh, okay. So we've got news.
one of
So,
those minors.
every time we're riding. Sorry. Okay. Let's just back up. There are a couple of things here that we need to dissect, because we're getting the New Zealand flag on the old scoreboard here, which is absolutely correct because he's a New Zealander living in Queensland. But the poor bloke's gone from progressive civilization of daylight saving in New Zealand to 1909 over here in Queensland. I don't know how you do it. And anyone, and I'm going to say this on record now, and if anyone wants to have a crack at me later, they can. I don't understand the people who say they moved to Queensland for the lifestyle, because sweating like Rolf Harris in a playground 6 months a year is not a lifestyle, okay? Let's just put that on the record right now. But Bevan, what else are you going to throw yourself into the sim rig for over the next fortnight? Where are you popping up?
I was having a go at the TCR there last night. Probably not too much. Sort of family life and sport and everything else sort of gets in the road a bit too much, really. But my wife absolutely hates it, so she's gone out tonight. But
oh wow, where's Dennis Gaderick when you need him?
I'm sort of taking up the whole lounge room here, but you got to have the aircon, eh? Up in Rockhampton.
Yeah, exactly right. Especially in Rocky, 100%. Can you have a word to Dennis Gaderick, because he had a war of words with his missus earlier in the week and lost out. She's won the makeup table.
I don't think it was a war of words. I think it was like, okay, honey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's just bent over and conceded. Sorry, Paul.
Who wins that war?
Yeah, exactly. The makeup table won over the sim rig. Just let that sink in for a moment. But no, Bevan, I appreciate that, mate. Thank you for the honesty, and thank you for letting us know, because all we see on the leaderboard here is Bevan Moyes, New Zealand, and we're lost in terms of direction as far as that's concerned, unless you let us know that you're actually over here, one of the expats and whatever the case may be. Love it. Good stuff. I mean, there are other parts of Australia that I encourage you to explore before settling on Queensland, though, mate, if you ever desire to. Let's start to wrap this up here. Paul Nichols, I'm going to come to you. Firstly, a Driver of the Night nomination from you and Mr. Photiadis, please, because obviously Nick and I called the first race together. But firstly, Paul, before we get to the Driver of the Night, and this gives Nick a little bit of time to think about it, the 12-hour this weekend, the club heavily represented in the officials. How can we get behind it, and in terms of viewing and watching the action, and how many of the club cars are represented across, or members and cars and whatever the case may be, across the separate servers? Because by gee, there's a lot of them going up tomorrow morning on the iRacing server.
Absolutely. So the first session is a 7 a.m. I think a 6 a.m. start. I think for breakfast tomorrow, and then I think the race starts officially at 9 from memory. There's probably from the club, I think there would be 5 or 6 teams, maybe even more than that, competing tomorrow. There may be more competing there's 4 sessions over the next 2 days. And then look, hopefully most of them will be running the club colours and the club livery. So Flash Graphics has provided a fantastic livery for all GT3 cars. So It's going to be an amazing event. Look, just to finish that event is incredible. I think Nick's in, the boys here that they've been involved in endurance racing. Just to finish one of those events is incredible. We had an amazing experience about 3 years ago. The club finished third in our split. That was like one of the best days of my life. It's just an incredible experience. So if you ever get a chance to do an endurance race with a group of guys you really enjoy racing with and chatting with, and jump on board. Look us up on Facebook. There'll be plenty of podcasts via our Facebook page, the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club Incorporated, and jump on board. Check us out. Lots of guys streaming their own races. So jump on board.
Interesting. And I think I'm right in saying that 12-hour you speak of, where you had such a great run, that was in the early formation days of the club, was it not?
Absolutely, yeah. So back, I think it was 3 years ago, Nico. Yeah, 3 years ago. So 2018.
18.
Yeah. So P3 in our split. I think we were probably second last split, but it didn't matter. Like, just an amazing experience to do an event like that with some.
You don't tell them what split you're in. You
Yeah.
say P3.
Who cares? Who cares what split it is? Like
exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, Jackson, as the winner tonight, is the Summit Sim Sport team lining up in the 12 this weekend, or are you having a weekend off?
So we've got one car. We've got Team Denali. They will be driven by Curtis. It'll be driven by Curtis, Josh Miller, Declan Reinhardt, Wayne Visser will be in that car, and I will be jumping in. So Gus and Mikey are out officially.
I knew Mikey was out. Yeah.
For the weekend. So I will be joining Team Oz E-Races. I'll be driving alongside Paul Wood. And there's another driver. I'm not sure. I've not met him before.
Robert.
Rob, yeah. So I'll be driving with those two. So it'll be a combination. Summit Sim Sport and Aussie Races teaming up again as we did at Daytona.
Very nice.
So yeah, it'll be good.
And Nick, you've said I'm going to have a weekend off and watch the real world stuff from what you were saying pre-race.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. Very nice. Of course, normally we'd have the 12-hour would have already been gone, come and went, and obviously there were a lot of 12 hours run around the time the Bathurst 12-hour would have normally been run this year. Of course, this year it's Supercars getting underway this weekend, when I've just really enjoyed the last 24 hours or so watching all the South Australians and particularly Adelaide residents blowing up about how they're no longer the centre of the universe as far as Australian motorsport is concerned in the last weekend of February. That's been really top shelf stuff. We wish everyone that's competing real world or sim world all the very best this weekend. Angus, halfway point of the season across the championships, you're faring quite nicely. Where do you want to improve, and what do you want to be about the same when we get to week 10 and Easter and the end of the championship, mate?
Snagging more TCR wins, that'll be nice. Yes. Thursday night so far have been a pretty good night. Apart from that, a bit more wings, maybe a bit more GT3. Probably these things. Yeah, I didn't think I was going to enjoy them, but I really have. And tonight I didn't think I was going to be in, but we had dinner plans cancelled, so I jumped on in. So
that's it.
Kind of just going with the flow. Tomorrow there's actual real racing on here in Victoria, so I'm actually going to be at a racetrack, so that'll be good. Down at the Rally Retro Festival, so that'll be real cool. And then come home, watch the cars. So just going out there having fun. I think sometimes we think a bit too seriously about it because it is serious, but if you're having fun, generally that's when the results come, and that's what's been happening for me sometimes. Just going in thinking if I snag a top 5 here, that's a great result, and you walk away with 2 wins in a round. So sometimes you just take a back step, and that's when the wins come flooding in.
Yeah.
By the way, absolutely. Know about the ice cream, mate? What flavour?
Yeah, this is my second. It's was on clearance. It's a caramel latte Coles. Couldn't believe how good they bloody are.
Caramel latte ice block. Fair dinkum.
Yeah, so they were on clearance, and I don't know why, because they're the best bloody things I've ever eaten.
Wow.
Sorry, mate.
In 6 hours.
Sorry, mate. Who hired you again for Summit?
I'm pretty sure you did.
I'm all for you know, anything caramel. I love my caramel milkshakes. I love my caramel ice cream, but I've never thought I'd be down the caramel latte track. But you might have solved me there.
A shot of caramel in your a shot of coffee in your caramel milkshake. It will change your life.
And, okay, copy that. Because actually, truth be told, and I'm coming to Brett Wilson to have a bit more of a chat to him in just a moment. Truth be told, I did make the phone call to Mum and Dad yesterday. I said, Dad, as an experienced coffee drinker, and I said, Mum, as a novice, because Mum's only just got on it in the last couple of years or so, the old coffee. I said, what would you recommend to a novice that's just about to think about starting drinking coffee every now and then? And I say that because there are going to be some weeks coming up. Easter's the first one. Paul Nichols, thank you to you. But before you go, I'm going to get a driver of the night from you. So hang on 30 seconds there for me. That's going to be the next comment. But for me, I look at the fact that I'm going to be doing the sim racing here on Good Friday and then a 4 a.m. start on the Saturday to go to Coolum. And I'm like, I'm going to need a shot of something. So I'm taking recommendations, and caramel latte seems to be right up there at the moment. So thank you for that, Gus. Nicely done. Hey, Paul Nichols, Nick Photiadis, driver of the night nominations from you now, please.
I think in the IndyCar, it has to be Jackson. Seriously. Like, fastest lap, win the race. Well done.
Pole position as well. Nick?
I'm just trying to remember back to the race. What was the top? Who were the top three?
In IndyCar or the other one?
No, in the Le Mans Freaky Friday.
Andre Youssef from Gary Cousins and Adam Lavis.
Oh, Andre put on a clinic in that one, didn't he?
He did.
A bit hard to look past him.
Small field, but he won that by 22 seconds. So nothing away.
Regardless, he was head and shoulders above everybody else in that one. I think his fastest lap was still a second clear of everybody else.
Were there 0 incident points at all tonight? I didn't see the final leaderboard for the Le Mans race.
There was incidents aplenty.
Okay, fair enough. So no bonus points, it looks like, for IndyCar tonight. Paul Nichols, thank you. We'll let you go because I know you've got to get some beauty sleep ahead of tomorrow morning, and you need a head start on that. So good luck, and we'll catch up with you Monday night.
By the way, thanks for that. All right, buddy. Enjoy the club. Catch you all next week.
I just had to get that one in because he snuck a subtle sledge in my way earlier, so I thought I'll get one back. Good on you, mate. Thank you. Brett Wilson, let's go to you because I haven't really had a chance to speak to you much tonight. Are you enjoying because, I mean, you're a relatively new name to the club, essentially, especially the broadcast side of things. We've only get to catch up with you every now and then. But are you enjoying the IndyCar Challenge? Are you enjoying the club environment here? Are you enjoying spending your Friday nights with all your mates in the virtual world?
Yeah, definitely. The club's fantastic. This series is absolutely amazing. Glad I stumbled onto it, and looking forward to competing it in many seasons to come.
Is it just the IndyCar, or are you going to pop up elsewhere as we go forward here? What have you got your eyes on?
Yeah, I think I will pop up elsewhere. I've been dabbling my feet with the GTE and GT3 with my other teammates that are running it. Simon Nicholson and Martin Crisp. And Aaron Specchio. So, looking forward to catching up with them when I can and having a run with them.
And Simon Nicholson had an all right run the other night too, if memory serves, in the GT3.
Yeah, he did very well.
Yeah, exactly. What are your thoughts on the second half of the IndyCar season before we start to wrap this up, mate?
Look, it's very exciting. I'm looking forward to some of those tracks. Obviously, a lot of the oval side I haven't been to, so that'll be new to me for those tracks. But Indy, the last round, that's what I'm looking forward to. That's going to be a ripper.
Oh, it's going to be fantastic. Cannot wait to get to the Brickyard on Good Friday, ladies and gentlemen. And how good's Good Friday looking? You can sit there mid-afternoon and watch the Bunnies against the Bulldogs in the NRL. You can watch the North Melbourne Good Friday game in the AFL, and then get stuck into a full night of motorsport with us with the Freaky Friday finale and also the IndyCar finale. And if there's not 40 on that grid for the IndyCars, we're not trying hard enough, let me tell you. Hey, thank you, gentlemen, for your expert efforts and insights tonight. Jackson, as the man that did a lot of winning in season 3 last year, to take us through to Christmas, you were basically in here getting interviewed more times than anyone else. It must be nice to be notching up some wins, getting some confidence back under the belt. It's been a hit and miss sort of start of the season, but you're coming on strong, and this IndyCar series is really hotting up. It looks like it's going to be an all-out shootout between you and Nick when we get to the Brickyard, unless someone else can come up and provide a sting in the tail like your teammate Angus there. And if that's the case, well, team tactics might have to come into play.
Yeah, look, I'm really. I had a really good start to the season. Like, I won a few races in TCR. Like, won a few wings and slicks races. And then we've had a bit of a dry spell the last few weeks. So to get that finally, to get some form back, and in the class that I've been dedicating a lot of my time to, it's been really good. So as you said, hopefully the championship does go down to the wire, makes it exciting. And I can't wait for Indy. Like, I've never done a race there before. Well, not the oval layout anyway. So it'll be interesting. I'll have to get some laps. I've done some practice laps. Played around with some settings in the car for the official actually. So hopefully when that rolls around, that'll the experience that I pick up from the end of the season race we do at Indy, I can take into the official. But I'm super excited either way.
I'm just looking at that thinking 90 minutes, why not make it 3 hours and just have the full thing? That will be an awesome night at the office. I say that and then realise, hang on, you got a 4 a.m. alarm on the Saturday morning, don't be an idiot. So good stuff there, boys. Thank you very much. Great to have a chat, but we've passed the 3 hour mark of the broadcast window now, so we'll probably leave it there. Just recapping tonight, folks. Big win for Jackson Rayhana, 7 seconds in the end over Bevan Moyes and Angus Cook in the Indy cars. Pole to the checkered flag for Jackson Rayhana tonight. It very nearly wasn't, with Bevan Moyes doing such a remarkable job for much of the race there. In fact, the intensity in the early laps in that battle between Rayhana, Mchugh, and also Moyes, that was fantastic stuff. And of course, earlier, Andre Youssef, 22 seconds better than anybody in a 12-lapper around Le Mans in the LMP2 cars. Great stuff there. Let's have a look ahead as far as SimShed Broadcasting and the Gentleman Sim Racing Club is concerned. In fact, if JP can throw up his schedule on the screen, there it is for you, ladies and gentlemen. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, get a load of that. The Nationwide Tracking Systems V8 Super Series. Geez, Chris Kisby and I have had fun calling that. That continues on Tuesday night. And we're looking forward to that immensely. 8:30 Eastern Daylight Time. And looking forward to more great race. I apologize. I've forgotten where we are this week because of some tech issues at my end. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, Montreal. That will be good top stuff, top shelf. That'll be great. So, Nationwide Tracking Systems V8 Super Series, 8:30 Eastern Daylight Time Tuesday night. Then on Wednesday night, the second tier, the Development Series backs up on the same track, a few less laps. And, of course, Aiden Schultz and the rest of the team will bring you all the action there. And that'll be on Wednesday night, 8:30 Eastern Daylight Time. NSCAR Abruzzi Cup, stock car racing. The next round of that championship comes up 8 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time on Thursday night. And, of course, the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, the Friday night doubleheader every Friday night from about 7:40. And next week, as far as the IndyCar series is concerned, it is Gateway for 65 minutes, and we're looking forward to that immensely. Of course, it'll be Freaky Friday beforehand. Car and track combo will be revealed during our broadcast over on the Gentleman Sim Racing Club broadcast page on the Thursday night. And by gee, we've got some good racing ahead. There's no doubt about that. Starts on Monday night for you, ladies and gentlemen. The 1st of March. How good's this going to be? Intro to Wings and Slicks, I should say, and the GT3 series direct from Phillip Island, 8 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time on Wednesday night. We back it up and do it all again, 7 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time for the up-and-comers, or 7:15 it'll be because the race starts at 7:20. 7:15 Eastern Daylight Time for all the action with the up-and-comers, the Cadillacs, the second hit out in the Cadillacs from WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, followed by, you heard it, Supercars, the Stone Cold Racing V8 Super Series direct from Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal. We back up and go to Montreal again on the Thursday night because we've got the double header for you from the same venue. And we are so very much looking forward to that. There's got to be an IndyCar race at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve at some point as well, because it is just top shelf stuff. 7:30 Eastern Daylight Time Thursday night. TCR GT4, the Pilot Series into the Rockdale Volkswagen Porsche Elite Cup. And then Friday night, as we already said, Freaky Friday and IndyCars still to come from, the IndyCars will be Gateway, so we're looking forward to that immensely. We couldn't do it without the support of the great people that back this club and like what we do and support what we do. The sponsors, the supporters, they're just terrific. And without them, what we do just would not be possible in every sense of the word. Race Control 24/7, got to give them a plug. Of course, they've come on board with Race Control this week. Rockdale Volkswagen, Sharp Extensive I.T, Flash Graphics, Stone Cold Racing, Adam St. John and the Warbundry Hotel. If you're currently sitting there chipping away, just drown them now. Just down them. Ocular Aerial Photography, Simple Sim Computers, LJ Hooker Gander, Motorfocus Quality Scale Models, and Central Coast Motor Group, Fleet and Corporate. It was a brilliant night at the office. It's been a brilliant week. We are halfway through the season. Summer is behind us. We're a month closer to Queensland rejoining progressive civilization. It's been a good night out. We look forward to your company when we go racing in March, starting Monday. But we're already 5 weeks into the season. It is racing by Jackson Ray Hana and Andre Youssef, the winners tonight, on behalf of Paul Nichols and Nick Vodiatis and the team. I'm Zach Caban. Have a great weekend, everybody. Don't forget, plenty of great motorsport on. As Gus said there a short while ago, there's some stuff happening down in Victoria. And also, don't forget, Wakefield Park, our good friends down there, free entry for the opening round of the New South Wales Motor Racing Championships, and I'm all for that. Especially when Formula V is on circuit, they do it better than anybody else. On behalf of the crew, have a great weekend. 5 rounds down, 5 to go, and then we all get a little bit of a rest before we do it all again. It's a repetitious cycle, much like the school calendar year, but it's been good fun. The month of February is done, and I look forward to doing it all again in March, starting Monday, 8 Eastern Daylight Time. Until then, I'm Zach Caban. Have a great night, everybody, and a terrific weekend. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.